Stakeholders speak of the Nigerian Startup Act in such positive expectations. Signed into law on October 19, 2022, the Nigerian Startup Act aims at positively channeling youth into different acts of, things that will be relevant to them in terms of turning out to be what they should be. So it aims at positively channeling youth energy. This is what the governor, Demola Adelade and co say. The objective of the act is to provide for the creation and development of an enabling environment for technology-enabled startups in Nigeria, and to positive and position Nigerian startup ecosystem at the leading digital technology center in Africa. In 2021, Nigerian startups retained 1.37 billion US dollars out of Africa's 4 billion US dollars funding, with Nigeria having the highest volume of startups in Africa. How has the implementation of the act fared? How do entrepreneurs, particularly in the Niger Delta, access the benefits in the act? And that is why we are here today on Canvas, as we have Professor Sunday Adebisi to lead the discussion on the topic Nigerian Startup Act to make successful entrepreneurs of youth. Professor Sunday Abayomi Adebisi is the Director of Entrepreneurship and Skills Development Center at the University of Lagos, Akoka. A Professor of Entrepreneurship Hub and Strategic Management in the Department of Business Administration at the university. His research interest span entrepreneurship hub management, innovation and startup enablement, youth entrepreneurship and sustainable employment strategies, international entrepreneurship and business, as well as sustainable strategic management and cooperative strategy. In universities in Nigeria should have entrepreneurship elements to combat unemployment and poor economic development. The University of Lagos recognized this with a 2019 approval of the Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Business Incubation Certification Program to make the 57,000 students at the university to compulsorily take entrepreneurship-oriented models all through their sojourn. Professor Adebisi is the distinguished visiting professor to the University of Iowa, United States. Is the first occupied professor of the Dr. Mike Adenuga Jr. Professional Chair in Entrepreneurship Studies and is the Director, African Research University's Alliance Center of Excellence for Unemployment and Skills Development. He implements the partnership, research and capacity building for youth unemployment solutions in Africa and was the lead researcher of the Regional Entrepreneurship Accelerated Program, an entrepreneurship program that University of Lagos conducted in partnership with the MIT, United States of America. He was project manager and research advisor of the commercial pilot of the ethanol clean cook stove project of the Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company, and was therefore seconded by the university to Shell for 2 years from 2014 to 2016 to oversee this pilot study. He is a member of the several professional and academic bodies, including the Nigerian Institute of Management, NIM Chartered, Academy of International Business 4550977. You can also join us on 084555977, 084555977. The conversation can be continued even after the show by joining our vibrant social media community. You can comment and throw in your contributions as they are very important to us. On Facebook, it is Canvas on Air / you can see facebook.com/Canvas on Air. And Professor, what is the Nigerian Startup Act 2022? There are so many persons that maybe they are hearing it for the first time. I know we have talked about it, but then, the audience are always different. So let's start from there. What is the Nigerian Startup Act 2022?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. And a great show that we talk about the things that affect this nation, and I'm quite happy to be part of this.
Okay.
Yeah. The startup, the Nigeria Startup Act 2022 was signed into law in October 19, 2022 by the past president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is
President Muhammadu Buhari.
Okay. Yeah. And the Startup Act really provides the legal and institutional framework for the development and operation of startups in Nigeria. And I think it became very important for the nation to take this decision, because we are seeing it ourselves that there is a need for us to become a global player, especially in creating decent jobs that the youth of Nigeria and the youth of Africa will do. And there have not been any structure anyway in the nation to begin to help the youth to get themselves properly coordinated towards, creating some of these, enterprises out of several opportunities that are in the nation. So that was one of the things that drove this Startup Act. And again, it was meant to position the Nigerian startup ecosystem as the leading digital hub in Africa, and also to foster the development of tech-related talent in Nigeria.
Okay.
I will still discuss it. Yes, the Nigerian Startup Act focuses almost only majorly on tech startups in Nigeria, which is actually very important, because digital technology today is already influencing the global world, and it is what has networked the entire world together, the countries of the world together. And Nigeria being the biggest nation in Africa, the biggest economy in Africa, the largest black population in the world, cannot be seen to be left out in not taking, very strong decision in this area. Because today, what has brought India into the global book of the entire world, or to make them to be globally competitive, is the same, digital technology, which they've been able to convert, to profitable ventures in different climes in India, and again, exporting it to almost everywhere in the world. And that is why you see today that India has the highest number of tech CEOs in the world than any nation you can talk of in the world, which came from really developing, their digital ecosystem, developing digital entrepreneurship, ensuring the fact that, they can leverage that. And this kind of Startup Act in India too was one of the things that actually supported the nation to grow to the point where it is today. So the act also, for the benefit of people, listening to us to understand the act has established the National Council for Digital Innovation and Entrepreneurship, so as to manage and the implementation processes of the act across the entire nation. And what is it supposed to do? This council that will be implementing the act is supposed to support digital technology development through grants to persons and to research institutions like ours, like university, that that are pursuing programs in sciences, technology, and innovation, to ensure the fact that there is this collaboration, early collaboration with the institution of higher learning, whether university, polytechnic, colleges of education, where you have concentration of youth, so that they can be quickly encouraged to look towards using technology to solve the wicked problem of the society profitably. And that act too is very strong at supporting that. The act too is to support and promote commercialization of local research and development on digital innovation by startups. That is to say, for every start, whether inside the institution like I am in here, where I am a professor driving the ecosystem of the University of Lagos and ensuring that everything that is available is converted to enterprise. Similarly, in the society too, the act is out to support any kind of local research that is driven by innovation, that is going to provide somewhat solution to solve the problem of the society. Again, the act is equally established, to support and incentivize digital technology, innovations of digital technology park, and community enterprise hub in Nigeria. And the act is supposed to support the nation to create another kind of Silicon Valley, as we can see in California today, to create a kind of ecosystem where it is possible for the tech experts, the techpreneurs to congregate, to come together and provide different kind of solutions to different kind of problems and that we have in our environment, in the nation, and have the capacity at the end of the day, having solved the problem of our ecosystem, to export those capabilities to neighboring countries in Africa, for us to become to be providing enterprise solutions to different business problems in Nigeria and across Africa.
Okay.
All right. So that is pretty much what this artist is trying to
all about.
What is coming.
Okay, so while you were speaking about what the Nigerian Startup Act 2022 is all about, I see you talking about how important it is for entrepreneurs, for the youth in Nigeria. But while you were still talking, I was listening to you keenly. You said some things, but then are you worried that this act seems to focus on technology more than on the general entrepreneurship that Nigerians are known for? Not every entrepreneur in Nigeria is actually into technology, and this thing is that it talks more about technology. So are you worried, or you think Nigerians and entrepreneurs will just fall into place?
All right, thank you very much for that question. The question is very apt. Before I answer you, let me first of all take this not to be seen as either berating, the kind of efforts that have been geared towards at least even organizing the nation to create a somewhat startup act. That was a very good. I would say that was a very good one by the pioneers and the several, especially that was led by the office of the vice president, for ease of doing business that time. And I think I know particularly some of them in there. That was quite appreciated. But I must tell you, Kate, that I'm very worried. I am worried in the sense that that art, bring a bit of, may I say, to meaning a tech startup, or to meaning, any kind of enterprise that is starting, from the digital ecosystem or the technology ecosystem. And that in itself was a challenge. I must say that. And that would make me to, for the listener, to really understand what a startup is. A startup is actually an enterprise that is at its formation stage or at its early stage of growth. And it's working on bringing new products or service to the market.
Okay.
With focus on innovation and ensuring that its offering is scalable, is irresistible, irreplaceable by both customers and competitors. So anything that is driven with innovation, anything that is coming into market, at least as a product and solve problem, it's a startup. Any kind of enterprise intention that is created based on that is a startup. Therefore, you find that in different areas, not necessarily in the tech, arena alone. So it worries me really, so that it does not make some youth to feel that if I do not have the technology capability, I cannot create an enterprise. It worries me really, so that are we going to start creating another act for different sectors? Sectors like the social impact, startup, or maybe lifestyle startups, or even, consumer product startups. These are types of startups that effort is not a very good effort. But then I have seen this business to support, digital today has become an infrastructure that is supporting entrepreneurship. It's not really the entrepreneurship. It's just a tool that can be used by the startup entrepreneurs to really drive their business and enterprise intention. So we must not narrow down technology as if technology is really the business.
Yeah.
So that is one of the things we experts were trying to work on, and to ensure that we really position this startup act to be available and useful to every enterprise.
Implementation of the act. Like, do states have to domesticate the law? The level of implementation, even in the states, this startup act.
Well, it's an act that was signed into law just October, when even the government that signed it into law was already preparing to pass its load. So you will understand that implementation is just at discussion stage. That's where it is now. And one of the things that is very key to put on record is that whatever is in that act really has been what have been in execution in Lagos in the last 5 years. And the University of Lagos has actually been a key player in the startup ecosystem. About 80% of the startups in Nigeria are in Lagos.
Yes.
And again, in the Yabacon, where we call the Yabacon, like we say Silicon, it's in the Yabacon area. And that is where University of Lagos is situated. That is why we're a great player in the startup ecosystem. In University of Lagos today, where I speak to you, I superintend over about 5 different kind of orgs in the university. And the Entrepreneurship and Skill Development Center org, has given birth to even BOI Unilag Incubation org, has given birth to NITSTAR org, has given birth to FAB org. So there are different kind of orgs today where we support the startup initiative of students in University of Lagos by being in Lagos, where all of these things started from. So, the kind of aggregation that is coming with the act, where support is going to be given in terms of state funds, to a labeled startup which the act provides for, has actually been going on when the act was not, has not come into place in Lagos.
Okay.
Today in the Yaba area, there are a lot of activities by many startups. There are a lot of startups that come up, from Lagos. Flutterways, was a product from Lagos, and Della was a product from Lagos, and some of them today have become, unicorns. We have, you have CC in Lagos that is equally, trying to ensure that they connect a lot of startups, even, with the global north.
Okay.
So in a way, Lagos State has actually, has activated it before they had. But to answer the question properly, every state in Nigeria must understand that there will be need to domesticate this law. Anyway, it's a law that is meant for everyone, but in every state, it needs to latch on to this law to be able to support its youth to focus on the direction that can make the act to be useful in developing the enterprise architectural system of such states. Because the law, the act, has provided